Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're still learning rule 270, which is to 295, which is about Modaf and Modaf Ilyh, a noun specifying another noun. Okay, and this rule we have gone over it last time, and we've done homework. We've done some of the homework problems to follow the procedure that was described in that homework. So today we're going to be doing the same thing, but with more, with another homework. Homework number is going to be homework number 9. Homework number 9. Now I'm explaining here that the watch is the first noun, okay, and the player is the second noun, okay. Now the Modaf, which is the watch, which is sa'a, and the Modaf Ilyh is al-la'ib. Basically here, the first noun is saying sa'a, watch. Okay, but I want to specify that this watch belongs to a player. Then I add the player, al-la'ib. Okay, that's what we do. So the Modaf Ilyh, which is the second noun, is qualifying the Modaf, which is the first noun. All right, so the Modaf, which is the first noun, can be marfu', mansub, or majroor. The default is marfu', so that's why I did marfu'. Okay, now I'm going to try to do something that's not right. Can I have alif lam in a mudaf? Can I have alif lam? Can I have an alif lam? The answer is no. Why? Because the rule says that the mudaf, the first noun, cannot have alif lam. Okay, cool. So that's not allowed. Can I have tanween here? So instead of sa'atu, I say sa'atun like this? No. Why? Because the rule 295 says that I cannot have tanween on the first noun. So the first noun, which is mudaf, cannot have tanween, cannot have alif lam. Okay? So what is sa'a? Watch. A single noun. But is it male or female? It's female word because it ends with ta'nif, the female ta. Okay? This doesn't mean there is a male watch and female watch. No, it means that this word in Arabic is a female word. Okay? All right. So I want to check to see if sa'a, watch, or player, al-la'ib, sarf is allowed or forbidden. The default is that sarf is allowed. That's the default. But I need to check to make sure the sarf is not forbidden. So I take this and I go to rule 2, go here to the, this rule here, and then I go to the rule 280, which is nouns. Okay, a sa'a is not a name. A la'ib is not a name. So neither the watch nor the player are names. So okay, move on. Does it either one of them ends with alif noon? No. Move on. Does they end with alif hamza or start with alif hamza or both? No. Move on. Is it plural? No. Move on. Is it is the word can be used as a verb? Like for example, Ahmed can be used as a verb, which is Ana Ahmadullah. I thank Allah. So Ahmed is a name, can be used as a verb. Okay? No, that's not the case here. Yazid is a name, can also be used as a verb, means increase. Okay? Increase. Okay? Both words and name can be used, the name can be used as a verb. So in this case, the sarf is forbidden. Is it? No. Is it transform it from the verb fa'il to fu'al? No. Is it a foreign name? No. Is it a compound name? No. then sarf is allowed for both, because we were checking on both of them. Okay, so sarf is allowed. Okay, now this is a singular female, which is 1F. I actually put it here so that you know that we're talking about 1F. Okay, and the player is 1M. Okay, so when I go to the table to determine the form of i'rab, to determine the tashkil or the haraka. This thing we do here. Okay, so I go here and I go to rule 290, and rule 290 is going to tell me that 1M or 1F sarf is allowed. It's not forbidden, it's allowed. Then marfu' is dhamma, mansub is fatha, majroor is kasra. So the default word, the default status for the word sa'a, which is the first noun, which is the mudaf, okay, is marfu'. That's the default case. So it's going to be dhamma in this case, okay? Now, for the Modaf Ilyh, which is the second noun, has to be majroor. It's not default majroor, no, it has to be majroor all the time, no exceptions. So in this case, since sarf is allowed, then it's kasra. So for the first noun, it's dhamma, which is watch. For the second noun, it's kasra, okay, which is the al-la'ib. So we go back here to the exercise or the homework. You can see that I put sa'atu al-la'ibi. Sa'atu al-la'ibi. Okay? Okay. Now, what if it's it's indefinite? Here it's al-la'ibi, okay, which the watch of the player. But what if we say the watch of a player? The watch of a player. How do we handle this? Means that I need to take out alif lam, because this player doesn't have a the. Here we had a the player. Here it's just player, any player. What would be the difference? The difference in this case that you can make tanween here. So you're saying sa'atu la'ibin, you can put tanween. Okay, why couldn't I put tanween here in this case here where there's an alif lam? Because if there is an alif lam, you cannot have tanween. Alif lam and tanween don't come together. It's either one or the other. So here the same word, once I took alif lam, then I put tanween right away. Okay? So there's tanween, there's no tanween. Okay, both of them sarf is allowed, which is the default case unless it's one of those cases that we looked at. Okay? Now, move to this example. Here, the watch is one male. It's watch. It's watch. It's not the watch, it's a watch of players. Players. Watch of players. So it's not determined. Okay. So the watch is 1F. It's going to be the same, like this one, like this one, like this one. It's the same thing. I don't need to worry about it. Now, the players is 2M. The player here, this is 1F and this is 1M. The only difference is that this one is 1F, but this one is 2M, 2 male. Okay, and so this one 1F, 2 male. So let's look at this one. Okay, The second noun is the one that we need to look at. Okay, we know it's a 2M, double dual male, 2M. I go back to my rules here. Rule 290 says 2M, whether it's male or female, both 2M, oops, or 2F. TM, 1M or 2M or 2F. Okay? I'm glad that I caught that. Then majroor, the second noun is always majroor, no exception. Then it's ya. It's not alif, it's going to be ya. Because we know dual ends with either alif noon or ya noon. That's the dual. It's either alif noon or ya noon. When you have a singular, you add alif noon or ya noon, it becomes dual right away. So it's the case of ya noon here. So go back to the homework. Yes, here's the ya. So the ya here is determining because that is majroor. Okay. Well, before we get into there, let's do this one. Okay, the watch of the players. Now here is the players, not just players. The players, okay? So the watch word, which is the first noun, is the same. So I'll just copy it here. Okay? Now, we're talking about the players now. The players, 2M, okay? Here, we have alif noon. We have alif noon. So it's going to be alif lam. Oops. Change this to Arabic. Alif lam. Okay, so the difference is going to be this one. The difference is going to be is that this one have alif lam, this one doesn't have alif lam. Why? Because this is watch of players or the watch of players, either or. Okay, it's not defined, it's indefinite. Okay, so just add the alif lam and we're good to go. Now, the watch 1F and the players 3M. And it is the players. The players. Okay? It's not just watch of players, it's the players. Okay, so the word watch is copied over. There is nothing new about it. It's just 1F. And cannot have tanween, cannot have alif lam, so it's just straightforward. The default case is marfu', and marfu' for 1F is dhamma. Marfu' for one female is dhamma, single female. Okay. Now the players 3M, it means that I need to add to the word la'ib, the singular, or since it's defined, then it's a la'ib. That's the singular, 1M. Okay. How do I convert 1M into 3 plus M? Is either by adding waw noon or ya noon. So I can copy this here, down there. Okay. I either need to add waw noon or ya noon. It's one or the other. Okay. I know from rule 290 that 3M (3 plus M), okay, majroor is ya. Majroor is ya, and Modaf Ilyh is always majroor, which is the second noun, is ya. Okay? And this one, since we're here. Okay. All right. Okay, so I go back here to the exercise sheet, homework sheet, and then say, okay, now because it's majroor, then it's the ya. So this one is not the case. Please stop me and ask me questions if there's something that's you don't understand. Okay. Now, لاعبين. So that is Arabic. Bring the keyboard, and here you put فتحة. اللاعبين. Now, in the 2M case, okay, now, again, another example. The watch is 1F, so it's the same. But the players are 3M, which is the same. But these are players, not the players, just players. So all I really need to do is just copy this one down here and take away the alif lam. And I'm done. Okay, because the difference here is that it's not defined. It's indefinite here, but it's definite here. Okay. What if the watch is 1F, the player is 1F, it's a female player, 1F. So the only difference is going to be, okay, the only difference is going to be about the player now. It's not a male player, it's a female player. So we add ta'nith at the end, female ta at the end. Okay? Okay. Now, what is for 1F, what is majroor? Because that's a second noun, that's always majroor. What is majroor? Go back here. Okay. Majroor is for 1F. Sarf is allowed. We already checked that. Majroor is kasra. So we go back here, and it is kasra. Okay? Okay. Let's do the car. I could do this for all other cases, but let's do the car example. If we say the car of the boy, or the boy's car, okay? Car is sayyara. How do I know that? Go to the Google Translator and say, okay, car. What is car in Arabic? Car in Arabic, where did it go? Yeah, here it is. It is
سيارة.
سيارة. سيارة. سيارة. And if it's the cars, it's a سيارات. Sometimes the camel is called a car in Arabic. Sometimes the camel is called jamal, is called سيارة. Okay? And sometimes the trolley is also Araba, is called سيارة, also could be. But anyway, that's سيارة here. Now, this is what
سيارة.
Let's make it clear.
سيارة.
سيارة. سيارة. So when I go to تشكيل, so when I go to the تشكيل web, the تشكيل site, the مشكال, and then I put سيارة, paste. So it says سيارة. Exactly like this.
سيارة.
So I check here, there are other possibilities. You look down here, there are other possibilities, but which one is the correct one is when you go here and you hear it says
سيارة.
سيارة. So it is سيارة. So that's the right one. Wanna copy it? Okay, it's okay. So basically, I'm trying to highlight it. It's not letting me. So the way to do that is just click on it again. Okay. So basically, what I was explaining that when you do سيارة and تشكيل, it comes to be سيارة. If you by mistake click here, it will give you several options. If you try to highlight this again, it won't let you highlight it. Okay, so you click on escape, then you can highlight it. What if escape doesn't work? Then if escape doesn't work, doesn't help it, then you do click on تشكيل again, then it will give you the right تشكيل, and then you can highlight it. Oops. Then you can highlight it and then copy it, and then you take it to your homework and then paste it. Okay, سيارة. Okay, always gives you the default with تنوين because it's singular. Now, this is car of boy. So a car, the boy's car, or the car of boy, or car of boy, or the car of boy, it's indefinite. So the word boy, it's indefinite. Now, before we move on, this is the first noun, which is سيارة, car. The first noun cannot have تنوين, cannot have ألف لام. So you need to make a correction. Delete this, and then go here and change your keyboard and click here, and then instead of تنوين, you put just a ضمة. Okay, so سيارات, which is exactly like this one. Now, because it's just a boy, any boy, then I can say, okay, so I want to find out what's the Arabic word for boy. So I go here. Okay, so I go here, I go to Boost Translator, I click boy, change the keyboard to English, and then click boy, type boy, it comes to be صبي. Okay, you can use صبي, but it's more common to use ولد. Boy, ولد. صبي is not as common as using the word ولد. But anyway, if you use صبي, it's fine with me. But I'm going to be using ولد. Okay, let me hear this, the sound again.
ولد.
Oh, ولد. That's not the right one. Because it is ولد. We take it here. We say ولد. here. ولد. So take ولد, copy, go back to my homework. And this is ولد. And it is ولد because it's indefinite. It's not definite. There's no alif lam. There is no dha. So that's it. Now, we want to check on the haraka at the end. We said the second noun always have to be majroor. Walad is a boy, and boy is 1 M, of course. I don't need to tell you here, by the way. I didn't need to tell you that the boy is 1 M. Why? Because a boy is 1 M. We know that. So we can go to our table and say it's 1 M, boy. Sarf is allowed, no problem with sarf. So it is kasra because its second noun is always majroor. So it is kasra. I go back here and I change this into kasra. The question is it kasra? Is it kasra or tanween kasra? In other words, is it this one, kasra only, or is it tanween kasra, like this? Which one is right? Because there is no alif lam, then we need to have tanween, since sarf is allowed. We don't have alif lam, then we can have tanween. We have alif lam, then we cannot have tanween. Okay? The girl's car. Let's pick one random here. Yeah, in this example, the word boys is a regular male plural. That's why I put a note here, because I'm teaching you only regular. However, there is a reason that I included irregular here. We'll come to it. Okay, so let's say the boys' car. So boys, 2M, and the car is 1F. The first noun is the car, the second noun is the boys. Because in Arabic, we go the other way. In other words, the car of the boys. 2M. Let's make them superscript. And car, as usual, is 1F. Make it superscript. Okay? So that's the first noun, that's the second noun in Arabic. If you use this form, then this would be the second noun, this would be the first noun. Okay? So the first noun is car, and it is cannot have tanween, cannot have alif lam. And it's just going to be the same thing that we did here. So no tanween, no alif lam. And the default is marfu', which is dhamma. Default is marfu', dhamma. Okay? Could be mansoob, could be majroor, yeah. But since I'm not putting it in a sentence, you don't know if it's marfu', mansoob, or majroor, then you take the default, which is marfu'. Okay. Boys, 2. If walad is 1 boy, then waladan is 2 boys. So I have 2 possibilities. Is it definite or yes, it's definite here because we have that. So, okay. So basically, I would take this, put it here, and then I will have 2 scenarios. The first scenario is add alif noon. Oops. Add alif noon to make it double. The second scenario is add ya noon. So which one ولداني or ولديني. Go back here to the rules. Says it's always majroor. The second noun is always majroor. So, and it is 2M. Then majroor is ya, not alif. Ya, not alif. So I go back here. Oh, okay. So it is, this is the right case. This is the wrong one. This is not the right one. Okay? Then I say, okay, al-waladaini, I need to correct the tashkil. Waladaini, daini. So the dal takes fatha. The dal takes fatha. And the noon takes kasr. So becomes sayaratu al-waladain. And I delete this one. Okay? Let me do this one, okay? Because I'm using, for a reason, I'm using the irregular plural because it is treated as singular as far as grammar is concerned. So, okay. So let's do the car of the boys. The car of the boys. The car is 1F. The boys are 3 plus M. plus M. Okay. Now, I know car is sayyara and al-awlad is the boys. Okay. So is sayyara going to be any different? No. The same. Okay. Now, here, the car is indefinite. So then in this case, I just need to take out the alif noon. Just need to take out the alif lam. So becomes without alif lam. Now, what do we do here? There is no alif lam. So it is tanween. We do tanween. Because there is no alif lam, then we should have tanween. Okay, tanween kasra, because there is no alif lam. Okay, and just to check to see if the word awlad, sarf, is forbidden or allowed, we go to the rules, and then awlad, it's an irregular plural, but does it sound like mafa'il? Awlad, mafa'il don't sound like each other. Awlad, mafa'il doesn't sound like each other. Awlad, fa'a'il doesn't sound like each other. Awlad, afa'il doesn't sound. Awlad, fawa'il, not the same sound. Awlad, tafa'il, not the same sound. To give you an example, mafa'il is like masajid, which is mosques, madaris, school, fanadiq, hotels, makatib, desks, daqa'iq, minutes. But you see the sound again. مفاعل مساجد, مفاعل مدارس, مفاعل فنادق, مفاعل مكاتب, مفاعل دقائق. Okay, you can see the sounding here. Okay, here مفاعيل, مفاعيل مناديل, مفاعيل مفاتيح, مفاعيل فناجين. You see the sounding. Okay, أولاد doesn't fit with any one of those. So, and it cannot be used as a verb, and it's not coming, it doesn't sound like fu'al, and it's not a foreign name, it's not a compound name, it's not a name to start with. Okay, so sarf is allowed. Sarf is allowed, then it's okay for me here to have tanween. Okay, to have tanween because sarf is allowed. Okay, which is the default case. Okay. Okay, what if there is the mudaf? Let's do one more example. Let's do this one. Car of girls, and we know car is 1F. And girls here are 3 plus F, plural. Okay. Okay. So car, we did car. So you can just copy it and paste it. Now girls. What's the word for girl? Bint. If you have good vocabulary, you don't need to go to Google Translator, but I will assume that I have no vocabulary. And I go to Google Translator with girl. Girl. Fatah. Also, Fatah. Also, you can use bint. So you can use Fatah or bint. Let me use Fatah. Okay, so I copy it. Now I click on the here so that I see the sounding.
Fatatu.
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 Fatatu. So when I go to the mishkal, I know that it's going to fatatu. So that's the correct choice. Fatatu. Fa, fatha, fa. Ta, fatha, ta. Ta, dhamma, tu. Fatatu. I copy it and go to my homework and then add fatatu. However, let me use bint. I'd rather use bint. Bint, girl. Noun secure. Now, I would say it's tanween kasra. Tanween kasra. Why? It's not, the girl's not defined, so it's bint, any girl. So they basically are saying sayara bint. You can say that to say this is like, this car belongs to a girl, this car belongs to a boy, but it's not defined who's the boy, who's the girl. Okay, so since it is indefinite, then there is no alif lam because it's a girl, not the girl. Okay, now bint is 1F. I want to make it plural, so as we know, we add alif ta. How do I know that? Go back here to the grammar book and the transformation. How to make it plural. Notes about two nouns. Okay. Okay. We add alif ta. Regular female plural nouns are made with the singular form with alif ta, replacing the female ta at the end. Okay, that's rule 235. Rule 235, item 2. So I go here, and that's what I did. I just took away the ta and replaced it with alif ta. Okay, now بنات is فتحة تشكيل فتحة, and then the noun is فتحة and the تاء is تنوين كسرة. Why تنوين? Because we don't have ألف لام. Why كسرة? Because it's مجرور. سيارة بنات. Car of girls. Okay? Okay. One more example. Let's do boys car. Boys 2M, car 1F. So the first noun is car, the second noun is boys. So the Modaf is 1F, car, Modaf Ilyh 2M, boys. Okay, so car. How do I know that car is سيارة? If I'm not rich in vocabulary, I can go to Google Translator. And the car, سيارة. سيارة. And the plural is سيارات. So that's nice. I can just get the plural right away. So I don't have to do it. But however, I want to do it myself. So سيارة. Okay. So when I take the word سيارة, I go back to my work here, sheet. I say سيارة. Oops. Anyway, it's going to be like this one, سيارة. Now, boys. One boy is one ولد. Boy is ولد. Okay? So, to make them two dual, we add what? According to here, to make dual, we add either alif noon or ya noon. To make a singular dual, we add alif noon or ya noon, according to rule 230, item 2 here. Okay? Okay. Talib becomes talibani or talibaini. Now I want to find out, is it alif noon or ya noon? I go down to my table, 290. It says that for regular, for dual, male or female, okay? It's not for majroor, it's ya. Why majroor? Because the second noun is always majroor, which is Modaf Ilyh. Always majroor, ya. So it's not going to be the alif noon, it's going to be the ya noon. So I go back here. So I would say الولدين. There are two choices, الولدان and الولدين. Two choices. As we saw, it's ya, not alif. So we remove this, and that becomes the correct answer. You know, you want to do the tashkil, you can do it yourself, or you can resort to the mishkal. Tashkil الولدين. Just copy them. Copy them and go back here and paste الولدين. Okay? So that's your homework number 9, which is going to be done by you today, or like due next week, before the end of next week, before Sunday next week. So, and we did quite a bit of examples here. if you have any questions, you can email me, you can call me, you can email me, and we can set a time on Zoom one-on-one where I can help you one-on-one. Okay? I'm available. Just let me know when do you need the help, and we can set the Zoom. I can communicate through Zoom and I can provide you help. Okay? Of course, the video will be online as well if you want to review what is happening. Any questions?